Where you at, John?
Cap.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
So we are out here advocating for players to start wearing cotton sleeves over top of their helmets to prevent concussions. Not because they wasn't wearing the helmet toppers before. They wasn't restricted from wearing them before because they thought that they provided a competitive advantage, but they did it for what? Player safety. So the NCAA coming out and talking about, well, we don't believe marijuana provides a competitive advantage, and therefore we're not banning it anymore. They never thought it provided a competitive advantage. They always limited or regulated the substance for player safety, saying that these are student athletes in which we want to protect as much as we can for their well-being. And so we know, look, I know some states have legalized marijuana. I know there's been unfair treatment in the legal system of marijuana versus other drugs. This is not a debate around that.
Yeah.
We're just still saying that smoking marijuana is not healthy for you, and it's not the good deal. And we know that the prefrontal cortex has not been fully developed in a college student, and so so that is that strain of saying, man, you just don't just take all the restraints off just because. If I did that at home with my kids, I got one kid that would never eat a vegetable, right? I got kids that would always like eat junk food and do the wrong thing, and I just don't think it's cap, man, to say that. And so I look at that, but I see the NCAA. I think they kind of did this as a thumbing of the nose. Also, they mad about the NIL. They mad about the NIL deals. They mad about the revenue sharing they're having to do with the players. The players got them on that, right? But then I feel kind of like there's like, well, we're just gonna take some rules off where you shorten your life anyway. And it's like, I mean, it's one of those deals where this is not the best thing. This is not the best thing for those athletes. It is not.
So here's where I sit. I don't disagree with you on that.
Repeatedly. AI had it on repeat.
You just talk about practice. We talking about practice. We talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice?
It became a thing, a comical thing, a pop culture thing.
You're sitting in here, you're supposed to be the franchise player. And yet here we are, talking about you missing practice.
Practice? Practice?
Practice?
Not the game.
Not the game you go out there and die for. We talking about practice, man.
But it was more than a simple thing because, one, Iverson concluded that everyone in the room was questioning his heart, not just his work ethic, leadership, and commitment. And two, there was so much more going on below the surface.
I lost. I lost my best friend. I lost him, and I lost this year. Everything's going downhill for me, far as just that, far as my life.
Making the thing that was lost in all of this the loss of everything.
Man, when I watched this, and I'd heard some of this before, but I don't follow sports super close, but I remember practice. I remember that. When I watched this, he goes into talking about what had happened with Allen Iverson and how the day of that press conference, the person who had murdered one of Iverson's close friends was on trial. Mm-hmm. And he comes into this press conference after his boss had come in and said, man, we think we probably gonna trade you because of your practice habits. Which, and over this period of time where Iverson had been going through stuff, it is reported Iverson even went to practice. He just sat out during practice. And so it was like, So this man came on TV and expressed, I lost my best friend. My life is blowing up. I'm the franchise player. Y'all aren't asking me about the game. Y'all are asking me about practice. And rather than talking about where Iverson was as a person, they made a mockery out of his statement. And it made me think about how a few things. One, we like to commodify dysfunction. Iverson's speech about practice sounds ridiculous out of context. Like, of course you need to be at practice. You are a leader on the team. Yes, you need to be there. And he said that in the conference. They don't usually clip that part, but he said it in the conference. Yes, you're a leader. Of course you need to be there on the team. So to think that you would disregard practice because you're a superstar, a black superstar, we gonna nail you to the wall. Second thing is, we value entertainment more than we value context. The story of a man who lost everything and was struggling mentally to be a part of where he had been leading and working before is a much more nuanced story than a superstar that doesn't care about practice. See, he's above everybody else. And so that's a much snappier story. And I believe that's why we ran with the story that we ran with. As this is one of the most watched events in America at this time. We'll be breaking down the big game today. So I am not a big sports fan, which is how you know how big this event here is, that I am here doing a 30-minute podcast on this event, man. John, what was hitting you from the big game this weekend?
Well, every year the big game comes, and I am both elated and a little saddened because my whole TV schedule changes after the second weekend in February. And here's the deal. Because I am a church planner, different things of that nature, here's what I also know. I get excited from the ministry side of things because the stretch from after the big game all the way till the end of the school semester is the longest stretch of continuous Sundays we have without big breaks happening kind of in the ministry calendar.
Right.
So I kind of like get geared up for that, but I'm kind of sad because now I have to wait and endure all the baseball season and to really start watching TV
America's favorite pastime.
Man, I mean, we're gonna have to go and see this on another episode. But man, like, it's just too many baseball games. All right, it's too many. Right? And then here in the Kansas City area, we have like a tale of two cities. We have the best of all times with Mahomes, and then the worst of all times with the Royals. Man. So it's enduring that, but my Rescue Rangers, world champs. That's where we're going. So the big game though. One, I called it in the first half. Those who were watching with me, I called it, and I said, one, because the 49ers didn't put away and didn't really pull away after the bad first half by the Chiefs, I said, they setting this hero narrative up for, this was like an episode of Naruto. I mean, I'm like, why are they setting this man up like this to be like this superstar? I'm like, this dude is about to go Super Saiyan on them. And they were setting this up. They were actually setting up this whole story.
They had the commentary too. I've never seen a team come back after being completely buried in the first half. If they don't score, there's just no hope. And then they get that one field goal right before the end of the half.
They acting like they didn't see Tom Brady come back on the Falcons from 28-3 in the third quarter. I'm like,
building the story.
Fam, I'm like, hey, fam. Why are you up here building this phone booth for Superman?
They building the story,
I'm
man.
like,
that's being a good commentary. That's being a good commentator. That's it.
And they were just steady on like the Niners, like, look at this. They had Joe Montana down there. Like, they showing pictures of Joe Montana. I'm like, man, this is about to be so bad.
Oh, man.
I'm like, they got Kelsey over here dive tackling Andy Reid on the sideline. People throwing helmets. I'm like, they are built. I'm like, You know, NFL films don't need any help creating. They gonna already put the music around this thing anyway. They don't need any help creating the drama around this video.
But your boy Brock, man, he was like, it's my year. He was putting it down.
Man,
He was
look at
putting
here.
it down.
Look at here. I'm gonna tell you something. There's certain players. There's certain players that you are not going to see them lose. That you're gonna have to beat them.
Yeah.
That man, as he was mentioned in the Dunkin' Donuts commercial, Touchdown Tommy is one of them that you got to beat. Tom Brady is not going to lose. You got to beat him, right? Mr. Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He is one of them that is not going to lose.
You got to beat him.
You got to beat him. That man, Patrick Mahomes.
My homie.
He is another one that I'm telling you, if you leave in any window of hope, he next to the IRS and compound interest and the grace of God. You don't want to leave him no hope because that dude is gonna come.
It's a powerful force.
He a powerful force.
That man ran through the middle and said, "Sss." He looked like Sonic on a video game character.